I now hand the conference over to Mr. Binay Sarda from Christensen IR. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Faizan. Good evening to all of you, and thanks for joining this Q4FY21 earnings call for Cupid Limited. We have mailed the press release to you. I hope you have received the same, and we have also uploaded this on our website and the stock exchanges. To discuss the results and address the queries of the investor, we have with us Mr. Om Garg, Chairman and Managing Director of the company. Mr. Garg will give a brief overview of the quarter gone past, and then we'll open the floor over to Q&A session. I would like to remind you that everything said on this call that reflects any outlook for the future or which can be construed as a forward-looking statement must be viewed in conjunction with the uncertainties and the risks that we face. These uncertainties and risks are included but not limited to what we have mentioned in the prospectus filed with SEBI and subsequent annual report, which you can find on the website. With that said, let me hand over the call over to Mr. Garg. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Binay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Cupid Limited, I would like to welcome you all at the fourth quarter FY21 and the full year 21 earnings conference call today. By now, I assume that you had a chance to look at the results we had published last night after the board meeting. So I would not take time to repeat all those numbers and would straight away go to the Q&A session.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Vaibhav Barjatia from HNI Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Providing the opportunity. Just wanted to understand that one of your competitor, Veru, has actually announced that they want to exit the business, which is one of their non-core business now because they are moving towards our R&D based company. So just wanted to know, have you are you interested in kind of acquiring that business of your competitor and then growing by the way of consolidation?
We have seen their publication where they have announced their intention to look for investors or even for a complete exit. We have had no formal contacts with them. However, we believe that this sale, when it is completed, would open up more opportunities for Cupid in future.
Just, I mean, wouldn't we better off acquiring the company rather than someone else acquiring this, because then there are just two of us in the marketplace, right? If we were to acquire it, it is practically a monopoly business for us.
First of all, it depends on what is their expectation, what is their asking price. And for Cupid, it may be more profitable to go for new businesses, just like the medical devices business, as compared to putting more investment and hard work into the female condom alone.
Okay. Okay, I got it. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhwanit Sala, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, I would want to know from our product mix, as I can see that we have made, if you can broadly distribute into three major categories of the product mix, IVDs, condoms. Can you tell me what is an approximate margin we are getting on each of this business, and have we seen any cost pressure, especially in our core raw material, that is latex and rubber based products? And secondly, I just wanted to know what has been the impact of the second wave of COVID on our business, and have we resumed normal operations yet? Thank you.
Okay, let me start with your last question. We are expecting full production in this post corona period. In fact, we are working at the 92% capacity right now in our Nashik plant. With respect to your second question, yes, we have seen an increase in the input cost, about 18% increase in the last quarter for latex, and 25% increase in cost in silicone oil. However, I think we have reached the peak in these prices, and it should start to come down to the normal levels seen in last few years. And about your first question, our margin in male condom is between 15 to 20%, and for female condoms it's anywhere from 45 to 55%, and in the lubricants it's about 40%.
Okay, thank you. Just one little summation or clarification. Can you just briefly tell us that I have read that our order book stands around 110 to 115 crores as of now. So for this current year, how does your outlook seem? That will we be able to go back to our pre-COVID or that 2019 kind of a performance level, or will be even better than that? If that can be the baseline, sir.
Okay, our order book as of April 1 stands at 113 CR. This does not include our projected business from the sale of medical devices, which at a minimum we are expecting 40 to 50 crores in this current financial year. And our total performance we are projecting would slightly exceed the 19 level. We are looking at top line of approximately 170 CR by March 31st, 22.
Oh, that's great, sir. Thank you for the option. I'll join back the queue for any other further questions.
Thank you.
The next question is from the line of Onkar Gogardare from Shree Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Disconnected. Pairing.
Yeah, hello, sir. I hope everyone, including you and your family and workers, are safe. My question is regarding the South African order, which you have stated that you expect a significant portion of that order. So what exactly that means? Can you please explain that?
Okay, yes. The South African government has floated a new tender which is asking for a total procurement of $1 billion male condoms and 40 million female condoms each year for the next 3 years. And we have submitted our bids already, and based on our input from the market and from the government officials, last year many of the manufacturers could not deliver their allocated quantities, mostly due to corona problems. So we are expecting an order worth 60 to 80 crores each year from this tender.
Okay, so 60 to 80 crores, both for female, the total order you are saying?
Yes, total orders at a minimum between 60 to 80 crores, and this will be the starting year will be October 1, 21 to September 30th, 22. This is their first year duration.
Okay, so 60 to 80 crore order for the every year, and what would be the total order size which they would be giving?
Which one?
The total order size, what would be approximate?
No, the total order each year to Cupid, we are expecting would be minimum 60 to 80 crores each year for the next 3 years.
I understood that. That would be for the Cupid Limited, but what would be the total order they would be giving? I mean, the exact total tender I am asking, out of which Cupid would be getting around 60 to 80.
Yeah, it would be about 10 to 15% of the total.
Among the total tender.
Yeah. We don't know the total amount because that would depend on the price, unit price. They would be awarded the contract. But 1 billion male condoms at least 2 rupees per condom for male and about 30 rupees per piece for female condoms.
Okay, and the second question is on the IVD sale. You mentioned about all the 3 verticals margins, but what would be the margins for that particular vertical, IVD sale?
Okay, we are expecting a minimum margin of 15 to 20% on the IVD sales. We are still exploring the market in detail, but the indications are that we should have at least 15 to 20% margin, both from the export orders as well as from the domestic market demands.
And you are targeting around 50 CR of the total revenue, right? For this financial.
Yes, 50 CR this year. And the product which is in maximum demand right now is the antigen rapid test kits. And this demand would continue until 70% of the citizens get vaccinated, which could happen anywhere between March to June next year.
Okay, so for at least
this demand to continue strongly.
Yeah, so at least for a year you expect this year to be continued, right?
Yeah. Actually, with time, we are expecting the sales volume of medical kits to even go higher. It could be easily 100 crores in the next year, next financial year, 23. And besides the antigen COVID rapid test kits, we are also setting up our capabilities to produce test kits for malaria, dengue, HIV, pregnancy test kits. And the demand for most of these items is improving, mostly from exports.
Okay, but the question is that what gives you the confidence and visibility to project a doubling of revenue from 50 CR to 100 CR from this particular side of the business?
Right now, based on the indications we are getting in terms of the customers' inquiries and some of the tenders which are in the planning stages, and based on the current market price, we have projected these numbers. These are very preliminary numbers, and as we get into the business this year, we would have a better handle on these projections.
Okay, so the last question is, apart from all these businesses, do you plan to venture into any other particular businesses? As you have said that you won't be putting much money or hard work in the female condom business of the competitor.
Yes, in terms of our production capacity versus the worldwide demand for condoms, we see better margins in other business vertical. And right now, we are looking at these medical devices, diagnostics, and we may expand this business to manufacture more products. And we are always looking for new opportunities as our investments and reserves have exceeded 65 crores as of March 31st. So we are looking for some new opportunities as well. But right now, our emphasis is to increase our production capacity for the medical devices business.
Okay, just a last quick question. What's the update on the US FDA front?
US FDA front, the clinical trial in South Africa has been delayed by 5 months due to their complete shutdown due to pandemic. And now we expect to submit our application in the first part of our next year, January, February.
Can any particular orders from Brazil you are expecting?
Yeah, they are talking about a new tender to be published at the end of this year.
End of this financial year or calendar year? Calendar year.
No, calendar year, November 21.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Karan Mohindro from Mohindro Family Office. Please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I would like to congratulate the management for a good set of numbers despite reaching the pandemic. So my question is regarding...
Sorry to interrupt you. The audio is not clear from your line, sir.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is regarding the demand projections. So what kind of demand growth or the tender growth or tender flow you see in coming year or upcoming few years? I have seen the South African tender that's signed. Other than that, what else do you expect? Which are tenders you expect will be floated this year or next year?
Okay, we are, as I mentioned to the earlier caller, our projection right now for the financial year FY22 is to have the top line of about rupees 170 CR and then an increase of 10 to 15% per year minimum going forward. At least for next couple of years.
Okay. Got it. So my second question is regarding your focus of increasing the brand's footprint in Indian market. So I haven't seen any aggressive brand awareness campaigns coming up from Cupid. So if you compare it with the competitors in Indian market, so is it through by design, or are we not focusing in the domestic market?
No, the Indian market for male condoms is very, very competitive, and the margins are a lot less than the margins we are getting in the export sales. So right now, our priority is for the export business rather than for domestic sales.
So what about female condoms? Because there are not many players for that, right? In domestic market.
Female condom domestic market is very slow. The awareness about female condoms in India is still very limited. We are selling about 1,000 condoms per month through our internet sales. And we have engaged with a local marketing company to sell female condoms throughout India. But in general, I would say there is a limited scope about increased sales of female condoms also.
Okay, got it. And my last question is regarding the acquisition of the diagnostic kit manufacturing company. So, are we planning to remove our focus from condom business to this diagnostic kits manufacturing? How is it? How will be the future projection going further? How much revenue will be coming from this diagnostic kit segment?
Oh, first of all, we are not diminishing our emphasis on the condom business. In fact, with the expanded capacity we have for the last year, we have a total production capacity of 560 million condoms each year, both male and female, and we are one of the lowest cost producers of condoms anywhere in the world. We believe that this is a right size of production level because some of the factories producing 3 to 4 billion condoms 1 year, they were working at only half their capacity because either their cost of production is too high or their order book is low. We are in a very favorable situation, both in terms of our capacity as well as in terms of our competitiveness. And as I mentioned, still we are able to make 15 to 20% margin on the sale of our male condoms. And recently, due to increased input costs, we have been able to negotiate a higher sales price with our major customers in last 3 months. Now, our emphasis on medical devices business is in addition to what we are already doing in the condom business. We see going forward though more profit opportunities, more business opportunities in the medical devices field as opposed to a straight condoms sale. So that is why we are devoting a lot of time and efforts to do research about the total market requirement and forecast for these medical devices worldwide.
Okay. So we are planning to move these devices, export these devices as well, diagnostic devices.
Yes, we will continue with the condom business as well as we will try to expand our medical devices business going forward.
So what is your guidance like projected sales guidelines improvement for medical segment plus condom segment, like total overall revenue growth, which we can have comfortably, we can assume that it will come each year.
Thank you.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, the line for the management has got disconnected. Please hold while we reconnect them. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently waiting. The line for the management is reconnected. Thank you, and over to you, sir. Mr. Mohindra, please repeat your question.
Sure. Yeah. So what I was asking is, like, what is the projected growth for like overall condom plus diagnostic kits business, which can comfortably be assumed? This is kind of projected growth which we are assuming and working with in the top line.
Well, like I mentioned, yeah, we are projecting a minimum revenue of 40 to 50 CR from our diagnostics business out of total of rupees 170 crores during the current financial year. And going forward, we hope to increase our top line through more opportunities in the medical devices field.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you. This is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prerit Bansal, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, I have a question on female condoms. Can't we operate at a lower margin in India on female condoms and spend something on development of awareness and the market in female condoms in India so that in future we can take some benefits from it? And my second question is relating to other expenses. I see a sharp decline in the other expenses on YOY and Q1Q basis as well. So, what contributes to this decline, and is this sustainable?
Okay. To answer your first question, we are selling it at a much lower price to this distributor, the female condoms in India. It's not so much price as about the familiarity and the promotion of female condoms. We are trying it through various means, including we have lobbied to the health ministry in Delhi, and we are hoping that they would come out with a tender to supply female condoms in India. And what was your second question, please?
My second question was relating to other expenses. There is a sharp decline in the other expenses on Q1Q as well as on YOY basis. So what contributes to this decline, and is this decline sustainable?
No, we see a better order book in this quarter and rest of the year. And we are trying to cut our costs wherever possible. And most of all, we are trying to improve our productivity and our operating efficiency was 92% in the last quarter, as well as for this entire year, FY21.
Correct, sir. But what is the reason behind decline in the other expenses? Which expense has been curtailed majorly?
First of all, with all our suppliers, we are negotiating very aggressively, and due to the competition in the market, we are able to make some reduction in cost there, and also in terms of improving the productivity of the labor, and by operating the machinery more efficiently, our overall cost of production has come down.
Okay, sir. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhi Jain from JK Business Services. Please go ahead.
Sir, I would like to ask you that the company is currently highly undervalued and you have enough cash on your book. Why not utilize that cash to have a share buyback? This will help create shareholder wealth as well as increase the earnings per share. So are you considering a share buyback? And my second question is around succession planning, which I'll come to it later.
What is the second question?
Sir, I'll come to it later. First question is related to share buyback. Why are you not considering a share buyback given that the company is highly undervalued right now?
Okay, we are considering the buyback options, but at the same time, we are also looking at the other possible requirements and use of funds, which includes the dividend is one item. Second of all, we have about 7 CR more to spend on the medical devices facilities at Nasik, and also we would need funds for the working capital for the medical devices business. So we have to look at all these projected requirements and then come to some kind of conclusion about the buyback. And what was your second question, sir?
My second question is around succession planning. So have you put in a succession plan in place?
Okay, as I mentioned in earlier quarters earnings call, we are still looking at a suitable candidate for the CEO job. And but in spite of that, our current management team is experienced and doing a reasonably good job. So as soon as we find a CEO, our rest of succession plan is intact. We have quite capable and experienced people in the second line and third line of management.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Subbu Murugesan, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So like just a few questions from my side. You said the order book is about 113 CR. Can you give us a split of how much is male and how much is female out of this 113 CR?
Currently, 35% of the orders are for female condoms, as we are closer to completing the last tender from Brazil. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are expecting new orders for female condoms, both from South Africa and from Brazil.
Okay. And this 113 CR, so can you tell me how, what's the like timeline for completion? So is it split equally for the next 3 quarters? So is it like, I think, 35 for the next 3 quarters, or is it more in the next quarter and then smaller in the next couple of quarters? Can you just tell me how this will split across the next 3 quarters?
I think this current quarter will be approximately 30 CR, as we are still facing some COVID-19 pandemic-related issues with our customers. But after that, we should have about 35 each of the 3 next quarters.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. And you said that overall the like revenue for next year would be 170 CR, of which we expect 50, like about 40 to 50 CR is from the medical devices segment. So that means from the condom business it will be about 120 to 130 CR. This is like sort of a decline from the last year and this year, right? Because we like normally do more from the condom business, but I guess it's because maybe some of the tenders have been finished and you're waiting for the new tenders. But if the South Africa tender is going to come in October, then maybe do you think will pick up in the second half? Could you just tell me why we expect a decline in the condom business this year from a top line perspective?
Yes, the funds were diverted and relocated to other corona-related facilities. But this year, those funds are being restored. And also the new tender funds have been approved last month. So we expect more revenue in total especially from South Africa.
Okay, sir. And you also said that the South Africa tender starts in October of 2021. So when will we see the revenue? So which quarter will this come in? So will this come in? So if we start dispatching in October, November, December, then will we actually see the revenues coming in like Q3 of this year, or will that be in the next quarter, which will be Q4 of this year? So basically, when will we see the revenues from South Africa being booked in the financials?
No, we should start to see the revenue in the third quarter of this year, from October to December sales. We are supposed to start supplying the products from October 1. So it would show up in the October-December quarter results.
Okay.
And the subsequent 3 quarters.
Right. Sorry, sir. Okay, understood. You also said that you have negotiated an increase in the price with a large customer, and in the last conference call you said that you have done some efficiencies which will increase the EBITDA margins for the male condoms. But still, in like today's call, you said that the EBITDA margin for male condoms is 15 to 20%. So I just found that a bit surprising. I thought with all these efficiencies and things like that, you probably on the male condoms you might start making more margins, maybe 20 to 25%. Is that correct, or have I just understood it wrong?
No. In some of the male condom sales, the margins have gone up to 22%, and our average margin last year was closer to 18%. As compared to 16% in the previous year. So we have been able to increase the overall male condom margins by a couple of percent. And in terms of increase in the selling price, we have negotiated about 11% increase from our major customers. The biggest being the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, with whom we have recently signed a new 3-year supply contract.
Okay, sir, understood. And one last question. You said that on the medical devices you expect 40 to 50 CR this year in revenues. Then when do you see that coming in? Would it be in like Q3? Yeah.
So sorry, I missed the earlier part of your question. Could you please repeat?
Yeah, no problem, sir. So you basically said that from the medical devices segment, you will generate about 40 to 50 CR this year, like ongoing.
Yes. This is for
Q4 or Q2. Which quarter do you see this coming in?
This would be approximately evenly distributed, 10 to 12 CR in each of the 4 quarters during the current financial year.
Okay. So that means that the plant in like Nashik is already completed, because I was expecting that the plant will be completed maybe by end of June or July, and maybe we only start to see revenues later in the year. But has it already been completed and they've already started production on the medical devices?
The commercial production would start in July at the Nashik plant. Right now, we are outsourcing the material. But once the Nashik plant starts in July, we are expecting at a minimum 10 to 12 CR per quarter.
Okay, sir. Understood. Thank you very much for your time and really helpful for answering my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is from the line of Akash Panpalia, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I just have a follow-up question regarding the succession plan. I mean, you have mentioned rightly that it was discussed last quarter, but I would say it has been discussed since last 2 years in all the con calls. But to be very honest and candid with you, sir, your HR team has not been doing anything on ground. I have not seen any advertisement on any job portal that there is a CEO requirement or anything of that sort, or any kind of, if you're not able to find the talent within the system.
No, we have been looking for the right candidates through the manpower company, 2 of them. And our requirements
are those 2 companies.
I don't have the names offhand, but we can convey this to you. Please send us a line.
So this has always been said that we'll convey it to you, but it's never conveyed, because if you see the top 10 HR portals, on that Cupid is not listed yet, finding the right, because see, to be very honest, we've been very happy how the way you have operated. But see, sir, the new CEO, when he comes on board, he'll take another 6 months to figure out what is happening, what are the current processes, and then he'll be setting his own new processes. So it takes a year for things to see. So, but I'm really very upset that this has not been taken. This is really not taking, because I understand, see, sir, you have 49% of the shareholding also. So the thing is really not moving since past 3 years, and it's always been told on the con calls that we are searching, we are doing, but there is nothing concrete.
No, let me answer that. We have made tremendous progress in last 10 years. We had introduced male condom sales in the export markets back in 2006 and 2007. And then
I'm not asking about the credibility that we have already seen, sir. We have seen that you have now become a debt-free company. Whatever has been achieved because of your, you can say, leadership. But now we need to look forward for next 10 years. See, this 1 year, 2 year sales will be up and down because of the COVID. That is secondary. But having a process, having a proper structure in place for next 10 years, and this we've been asking you since past 3 years. I am only questioning about the HR who's not been diligent enough. You don't even, in your annual reports, don't even have a proper head of HR whose name is mentioned on the annual reports also, or on their website. If you see the today's website also on Cupid Limited, the Q4 is not yet been uploaded. We have to go to the BSE website to find the results.
Well, they are supposed to be published at the same time as we send the information to BSE. So our website must be getting updated.
The independent director signed the document, and it is mentioned that it has been uploaded on your own website also.
No, that's what I'm saying. The documents have been sent to our website people also. They must be in the process of uploading it. Now, back to your question about our vision, about our vision for next 10 years. We like to see Cupid Limited as a first-class manufacturer of male and female condoms throughout the world with profitable venture each year. And in addition, we like to Cupid to expand into new businesses. And the first one, we have discovered this medical devices business based on our research during the last 2 years. So our current management is very visionary, and we are keeping a worldwide watch on all the developments related to our industry. For example, we keep on tracking the budget for the current year and next year from all the major international institutions. And based on that information, we see where the market is going and where the opportunities are heading. And like I mentioned earlier, several condom manufacturers throughout the world are in financial trouble. In fact, some of the units have been closed down this year, especially in Malaysia. So I would like to assure you that our vision is very clear. We want to expand. This will be a very profitable year going forward. And even if we are not able to locate a proper person for the CEO job, we would train some people internally.
Thank you. Mr. Akash Pampalia, maybe request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yogansh Jeswani from Mittal Analytics. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So just one clarification on your order book, the 113 crore order book that you have mentioned. Is this inclusive of both your medical device and your condom business?
No. 113 crore order book is only for male and female condoms. There is no confirmed order yet from the medical devices field. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are expecting revenue of 40 to 50 crores from the medical devices business during this current financial year. So that would be in addition to this 113 crore condom order book.
Understood. So this 113 crore doesn't include any medical device orders. Right. So, sir, sometime back, I think there was some announcement that you had made to the exchange regarding an order that you had got from, I think if I'm not wrong, UP government for any medical device or something. So is that executed?
The first order we had executed, and we had received the all the funds, all our revenues. We have received it, and now we are working on the second order, which is kind of slow. And we are expecting more orders from the various state governments, especially for the this antigen corona test kit.
Understood, sir. So, sir, on your medical device business, if you could dwell just a bit more on in terms of developments that you are doing to build up your product pipeline, and I think, as you mentioned, I think so far we had been doing on contract manufacturing basis, but going forward we are setting up our own plant. So, other than the fixed asset investments, what are the kind of efforts that we are taking in terms of developing the technological capabilities for these devices, and what kind of money are we spending on such R&D efforts?
Okay, we have completed the construction phase for our new facilities at Nashik, and we have further ordered all the machinery required to produce the test kits for malaria, dengue, HIV, and corona. And we are in the process of getting the permission, all the licenses from the FDA, local FDA, as well as from the drug controller in Delhi. Basically, we have hired some experienced people from the market, and we have employed a couple of employees who are doing the research on the future possible requirements. So we are in touch with the procurement division of major Indian states as well as some of the foreign countries. So based on their input, we would be targeting the manufacturing level for each of these items as per the order quantities.
Okay, that's really helpful, sir. If you could also just share, any internal targets that or budgets that you have set for the medical device segment, how much we are going to spend in terms of development, in terms of R&D, and other related expenses. Any budget that you can share with us, sir?
The current facilities would cost a total of 10 crore, as we had mentioned in the last con call. And in addition, we would need 10 to 15 crore of working capital to run the current business. And by the way, the commercial activity is expected to start from July from the Nashik plant. Now, about the R&D, we are anticipating rupees 5 crores of investment for the new R&D, and mostly it would be through the hiring of some competent people, experienced people in this line of business.
Understood, sir. So, sir, also a related question is, we've been following the RT-PCR market and these devices market, and of late what we are seeing is the price correction, in these devices, per unit price correction has been extremely sharp. I think it's as high as 70-80% fall in the last 6-7 months. So, given the kind of fall these devices are seeing and the kind of competition that's coming up, we are seeing, tens of players coming up and setting up capacity at a very short time. And I think from your last con call also, we understand that you are expecting respectable EBITDA margins from this business. So, how do you think about the situation now, looking at, increasing competition, falling end product prices, and, in terms of able to, ramp up capacities? I think it's not just if you are able to set up capacity in such short notice. There are established players who have already expanded capacities, and there are new players coming up with capacities. So how do you expect all these things to play out in terms of your competitive dynamics? If you could just share your thought process on that, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it is true that competition is increasing every day, and the demand side is increasing even faster than the availability of production. So the selling price did dip 2 to 3 months ago, but now they seem to have come up. We have got this Vitti order at a very good sales price. And Corona is not the only product for which right now there is a huge demand. And like I mentioned, it is expected to continue until majority of the Indians are vaccinated by early next year, early to mid next year. But beyond that, there is a demand for test kits for HIV and malaria, especially from the African countries. So order book we are expecting would improve, and depending on the order book, we would gear up the production facilities.
Understood. So that's really helpful. So one last question on this front. So I think other than COVID, what I understand, HIV and malaria testing is another area in which we'll be focusing, right? So just to understand the market about it, so this is also a tender-driven market, or do we have to go to the, through the retail channel, through a distribution network, or is it similar to how we have been doing our current business that's mostly tender-driven?
Mostly it is tender business, but there is also a scope for the business through the distributors as well. But mostly through the tenders, international tenders as well as the Indian state government tenders.
Understood. And these tenders come out just the way it is being coming out for our, like the condom business that we have. So these tenders are also floated through these organizations, and we bid for them in Africa, Brazil, and such countries, right? Is that understanding right, sir?
Yes. There is no schedule that we know of, but as soon as their budgets are firmed up and their demand is outlined, they send these requests.
Understood. So, sir, typically, what is the tender size for these contracts for HIV and the malaria and these products? What is the typical tender size for these contracts?
For on right now, the contract size is about 10 to 15 CR, but for big tenders for HIV is more like 40 to 50 crore business, especially from South Africa, which has the highest number of HIV infected people. So the tender size varies in amounts depending on the country and depending on the product.
Understood, sir. That's really helpful, sir. I'll get back in the queue for any follow-ups, sir. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Nikhil Chaudhary from Crystal Portfolio. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and hope you are taking care of your health. Sir, I just all my questions have been answered. I just one follow-up to the earlier participant. I just wanted to understand these HIV, malaria, and dengue kits. Like, we'll be catering to the like governments. Probably we'll be having tenders, and then we'll be participating in that. I just wanted to understand the competitive landscape. As in, like, probably in the female condoms, we are the only guys. There are only 2 or 3 guys, and we are one of them. But in these kits, what is the competitive scenario that is existing presently, and what sort of competitive advantage do we have, considering we may not be the first player, and what sort of differentiation we may be offering on the table?
Okay. First of all, there are 7 to 8 manufacturers already working in India to produce these types of kits I mentioned. However, the demand is increasing more rapidly than the production capacities of these existing manufacturers. So we see some business opportunities there to meet the exceeding demand. Also, we would like to be competitive in our bids. We are looking at 15 to 20% net margin as a minimum in our business plan.
So 15 to 20% net profit margin you're speaking, sir, on this business, a medical kits business?
Yes. Net 15 to 20% margin as a minimum.
Okay. And sir, just like wanted to understand your rationale for entering this business, considering we are already dominant guys in the condom business. We could have scaled it really well, but just wanted the management bandwidth that this would command, any competent person that we have hired specifically for this division, and any rationale that has led to entering this space, considering the synergies we may be having in distribution, customer base, or any capacity synergies that we have. Wanted to understand a rationale on that.
No, the main issue is the demand side. For example, the demand for male condom is much higher than the female condoms, but the manufacturers are also vary in number quite a bit. Male condoms has worldwide plants with billions of pieces of capacity, and in the female condoms there are only 3 players throughout the world. So in spite of the lower demand, relatively speaking, we can command a better margin. And also, Cupid's cost of production is one of the lowest. Looking at the competitors' bids on the tenders.
Thank you. Mr. Chaudhary, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mukesh Kumar, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for giving the opportunity, and congrats to the management that they have been doing really good in this challenging scenario. I had few questions related to first on the regular business, which we have condom business. If we see like in FY20 we had 161 crore revenue. In 21 it came to 149 crore. And the guidance which Greg sir has shared now, so that goes to 120-130 crore for the this current FY. So it's a trend of regular is continuously reducing revenue from our ongoing business. 161, then 149, then again 130, 120 order. Do we see this downtrend to continue for next 2-3 years?
No. Like I mentioned, our current year's top line, we are projecting at about 170 CR, including 40 to 50 CR from the sale of medical diagnostics. So it leaves about 120 to 130 CR from the condom business. And going further, we see increasing demand for male condoms as well as female condoms post this COVID-19 pandemic. The demand, there are all the indications are that the demand would increase going forward.
Yes, sir. But in the last 3 years, if you see, so 161 and then 149 and then 130. So it's slowly reducing. So anyway, it's good that you have a better clarity on next 2-3 years. We go with that. The next question is on the medical device business, what we have started. So as of now, we got the orders from UP government, and I think we got the repeat order from them again. And when we are going with the other medical devices for malaria, dengue, pregnancy kits and all, are we planning to use or follow the tender route for even these devices within country? Because for pregnancy kits and all, not sure how will be the market inside India. So is there any option, or are we exploring the retail or distributor channel as well for that?
Yeah. Well, most of the sales we are expecting would be through the tender business. But we are also looking at distribution network, which would be about 20% of the business according to our current projection. But bulk of the sales will be through the tender business. So we don't see big expenses on building up a marketing team. Most of the tender business is being handled by our own internal staff. Basically, it's all through emails and telephones and communicating with all the prospective buyers.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dinesh. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. So my question is like you mentioned, most of our business for the condom side is from the commercial tender business, and we are not really looking into building our own brand owing to the marketing expenses involved. So what I wanted to ask was, is there an opportunity for us to look at contract manufacturing for other global brands? Because I know that one of the biggest contract manufacturer in Malaysia, that condom company is also looking to branch out and start its own brand, and they are manufacturing on contract basis for other global brands. So right now they will be becoming a competitor to those global brands. So is there an opportunity for us to get into contract manufacturing with global companies, so global brands like Durex or others, and take some shares from that? And since we are anyway one of the lowest cost manufacturers in terms of the male condoms.
Well, we in the past we have looked at that. In fact, we were doing contract manufacturing for brand names like Playboy USA. The problem is that the margins are no better than the margins we are currently getting from our export sales. And also, sometimes we do not meet their quantity requirements. We have about 30 repeat customers worldwide from all categories, from the institutional business to government tenders to NGOs and through private sales. So sometimes the capacity becomes a constraint in terms of if you look at big pair requirements like Durex.
Understood, sir. So my second question is regarding the US FDA and the US prescription market. So you mentioned that currently we are the clinical trial is on hold due to the COVID situation, and once that that is able to resume by next January or so, you are expecting that the US FDA approval should come for us. So I just wanted to know what are the actions and what are the strategies that we are taking currently to tap the US prescription market? Because when I was looking into that, there is only one competitor there currently, and looking at their recent presentations, their sales from the US prescription market has been growing exponentially, although on a small base. So it's a very lucrative market for us if we can get into that. So how are we looking at that? Have we made any tie-ups locally with other firms that can help us in distribution in the US market? And are there any challenges you see in terms of getting the approval from FDA? Because I know we are already WHO pre-approved or pre-qualified. So should we then expect that this approval should not be a major challenge, or is there still any concern in terms of getting the clearance from the FDA?
Well, the US FDA requirements have recently been tightened up to qualify a female condom. Now, after we submit our formal application in January, February next year to FDA, they normally take several months to review the data, to test the quality of samples, and some other formalities. Now, we are expecting it will take at least 6 months before we get a final decision and hopefully approval. Now, in terms of marketing, we are in touch with a couple of marketing companies in US, and they are quite interested to represent Cupid. And I agree with you that the margins in the prescription business is huge. In fact, one of the competitors, the main supplier of female condoms in US, had a $10 million sale out of a total sale of $13 million in their last quarterly report, indicating a huge profit margin in the prescription sales. So we are eagerly looking for that opportunity. However, it will be in the second half of next year before we start to realize some revenues and profits.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Santosh Jain, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. As you previously mentioned that you have had improved the margin in the male condoms to around 22%, but and you also negotiated higher prices with one of your largest customers. But if you look at your recent the reported margins, they are only contracting on a YOY perspective. So why the numbers, the margin improvement is not visible?
No, the new price increases we have negotiated, they are effective April 1. So these you will see it in the this current quarter results. And in some of the contracts, the margin have improved to 22%. But in other sales contracts, we still have 16-17% margins. But we are all the time looking ways to improve the margins.
So, and if you look at latex prices, so in the past 2 months, April and May, how has been the latex prices moved? Have they been higher than the March quarter, or they have been stable or something like that?
No, in the last 4 months, the prices have gone up by at least 14%. But now that the monsoon season is on in Kerala, we expect the prices to come down to normal levels next month or so.
Okay. And so lastly, in your the testing kit business, so since you're dealing with the government currently, so are you facing any issue in getting the payments? The receivable days high, or are the payments coming on time? And why are we getting orders at a very slow pace, despite the COVID pandemic becoming so high in India? So we should have got. My sense is that we should have got much more higher orders than by now.
Yeah, we so far we have received all our pending payments on time. We don't have any problems In fact, our total receivable as of March 31st has been reduced to 27 CR as compared to 41 CR a year ago. So our cash flow has been very strong all year, and and our current debt, which was about 31 CR, working capital loans, which was reduced to zero on March 31st. So we have made significant improvement in our cash flow situation, especially in our receivables encashment.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Raghav Hans, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, actually, I had two questions. Both are regarding in the industry space, actually. And, sir, the first question is that I was reading a
Mr. Hans, the audio is breaking from your line, sir. Please check.
Okay, 1 second. Hello, is it better now?
Sir, it's still the same.
Just 1 second.
Please use the handset mode.
Yeah, this is the handset mode, actually. Is it better now?
So you can go ahead.
Okay. So, sir, basically I wanted to understand that, I was reading this condomology report, which was recently released by the Condom Alliance. So over there, they had basically explained that the market size per annum in India is 1,500 crores for the condoms, and in terms of volume, it's 2.3 billion pieces. So I wanted to understand how much is Cupid contributing to this domestic market as on 31st March 2020. That will also do.
Okay. The Cupid's contribution in the domestic market is very limited. For example, it's about 15% of our sales are done in the domestic market, balance 85 to 90% in export sales. And the main reason for that is that there is a lot of price competition in the domestic market, and margins are much better from the export sales.
Okay, got it. And sir, one thing I get our focus, why it's on the export market, basically because of the margins. But sir, because you've been a veteran in the industry for so long, so I wanted to understand that, sir, from 2014 to 2020, that's 6 years, the volume of condoms has grown at a measly rate of 2%. So, sir, I get our company's focus, but sir, how and when do you see this trend, changing or increasing? And second of all, what do you think, can the government efforts can be focused over here to, increase the awareness? Because another thing which I was reading in the report was that, for example, from the age group of 15 to 24 people who have, who are basically, there are 70 to 80% people in the age of 15 to 24 ages who do not use a condom, who have not used a condom in their previous, encounters. So how do you see this changing, over 5 years, let's say, in India at least?
Well, the demand is on the increase in India. I don't have the statistics about the future projections in India, but in general, with our population much younger than rest of the world, I would assume that the demand going forward would be much improved. And also the government of India is promoting, along with all the states, more and more use of contraceptives to control the population growth.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to one per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Onkar Gugardare from Sri Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. My question is, as several participants have already alluded to the fact that the company is undervalued and hardly it is trading at 10 times of the valuation multiple. So why don't we hire a consulting firm or a finance personnel in this which can help you to help us to achieve the higher level of multiples, as we are in this health related business, and which would also help the company to, help the company how to allocate the capital more efficiently, which would ultimately drive the overall valuation of the company, as we are also having around 65 crores of cash and we don't have any debt. So overall, I would like to know your views on that, sir.
No, I welcome your suggestion, and we are considering looking at a 3-year strategic plan, and for that we may need to hire an expert who is related to medical field as well as has knowledge of financial. So I think we could use one, especially as we see more opportunities going forward in the medical devices field, not only in India but also worldwide.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Subbu Murugesan, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. My question is on the Brazilian order. You said it's going to the tender will be released in November and December of this year. So I just wanted to know what is the size in CR terms of this order, and if we, to be honest, if we want to get a larger share of this order and also a larger share of the South African order, and maybe also get into the prescription business, can't we just speak to Veru and then acquire their non-core business, so that we will be targeting all 3 areas at once? Because then we will have we basically have a greater negotiating power with South Africa, Brazil, and also maybe even get into the prescription business much faster. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Well, 2 points. First of all, we have been in discussion with the government officials, both in Brazil as well as in South Africa, about their current budgets and next year's budgets, and the volume of businesses, volume of the condoms they would be looking for. Now, in terms of acquiring this possibility to buy out the competitors, on a preliminary basis, we have looked at the multiples, the asking price, and it will take at least 10 years to get the payback, because they are asking for a really high price, because their current margins are very high. So we are following all these developments, and we would ultimately decide what is the best option for Cupid, whether to continue to concentrate on female condom and male condom business only, or to look for other business verticals which offer maybe even a better return on our investment.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vaibhav Barjatia from HNI Investments. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. On diagnostic business, so basically you have said that we have invested near about, we are going to invest in total 10 to 15 crores plus a working capital, which is nearly 25 to 30 crore of capital investments. Capital and working capital investment into diagnostic business. And by FY23, you expect to have 100 crore of revenue with 15-20% margin, which seems like a very, very high return on capital employed. even in a business which is highly competitive and unlike our condom business where the competition is very limited. We don't even make that kind of ROC in this business. So I think I'm not sure when you're projecting numbers or when you're forecasting this, how you're getting the confidence that you will be able to do this, do nearly 50-60% return on capital employed on your diagnostic business.
Okay. First of all, our total capital expenditure on our Nashik facilities would be 10 CR. And the working capital requirements would vary between 10 to 15 CR depending on the order book. Now, in terms of margins, our predictions and projections are based on the current market price for each of these products and also the cost of production. And we see a 15 to 20% margin on the high sales volume, 40-50 crores this year and up to 100 crores next year. So unless the market price, the selling price has a drastic drop, I think we should be okay in our projections, 15 to 20% margin, because the cost of production has to be controlled through utilizing more modern automatic machinery and of course least number of labor for manufacturing.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akash Panpalia, individual investor. Please go ahead.
So I guess in the last question, I didn't get the proper answer, so I had to come back to the queue. So my question was regarding the succession plan, and also why are we not promoting Mr. Durgesh Garg? I mean, from past 3 years, we've been looking out. If we are not able to find, we have the COO already in place. So I really don't need an answer which is like, हमने क्या किया था, क्या है, and क्या vision है. But we really need, this is a high time that if you we recruit someone at the CEO position. I know you are holding 49-50% of the shareholding, and the composition of board is also not very dynamic. You are there on the board, then you have Ms. Veena Garg also on the board, but there is no dynamic board that we have right now. And that is the reason why we don't have FII and DII also investing for a longer tenure. If you see ICICI Bank in 1920 was just trading in our shares and made money and moved out of it. They don't have a confidence on the board that they will ever move out of their position.
Okay. In terms of our current staff, we are always evaluating their capabilities as compared to the requirements for the higher positions. And in terms of the board, we have 2 senior members with us for almost last 10 years. And they have been contributing significantly to the workings of the company. However, we are open, and I thank you for your suggestion, maybe to look for new board members.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments. So please go ahead.
I would like to thank all the shareholders who have guided us and helped us throughout all these years through their suggestions and recommendations for the improvement of workings of Cupid Limited. Also, I would like to thank all our customers who have shown confidence in Cupid products through their repeat orders and in many cases for several years. And finally, I would like to thank all the employees of Cupid Limited who have worked very diligently throughout the year, especially during this difficult year because of COVID-19 pandemic. So again, I would like to thank all the shareholders for their contribution and suggestions to improve the performance of Cupid Limited. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Cupid Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Hello.